chit chat. Too many talents, can't waste them, yeah, that's big facts. Making kingdom moves, standing on business like me, Shaq. Aiming for our goals, clear clack. Moving forward, no need to reach back. Tell me where I need to preach at. Tell me where I need to speak at.
All right, we are back again with another episode of the CROWNEDCAST podcast. I'm excited for this one. Mr. Joel Ngulu, how are you feeling?
Man, blessed and highly favored, man. Let's get it.
As always, man, we got the pleasure of having an incredible brother and just a brother in Christ too, man. This gentleman, he helps Christian men lose fat and build strength, aligning faith, family, and career with their purpose. So this man automatically is kingdom minded. I'm sure today he's going to be talking about why it's so important to honor your body and what the Bible actually says about honoring your body. But I don't want to make a long introduction for this gentleman because I just want to get into it, man. So we got Dakari O'Neal today on the CROWNEDCAST podcast. How you feeling, brother?
Every day is a blessing, man. I'm very grateful to be here. And I have to address that is one good intro you guys got. I love it. So I'm already loving this process. This is amazing. But yeah, that's how everything's going.
Good, man. Let's get it.
Yeah, Joseph always kills it with the intros, man.
It's nice, man. Seriously, I like it. I like it a lot.
Good. I try to do my part, man. So being in fitness, I just want to get straight into it, man. Why is it important for not just any person, but man, a Christian to be in shape?
It's a good question, and obviously it has a lot to do with what I do. Scripturally, like if
I'm giving you the alley-oop here.
Seriously, good question. Scripturally speaking, 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, it tells us to honor our bodies, right? And something that I'm very familiar with as a coach is when it comes to behaviors and habits, it always starts with the small things, right? You can't expect to truly honor God with the bigger things if you're not doing it with the small things, and that has to do with your health. He's given you a body. He's given you a mind. If you're not honoring him with that and you're not taking care of yourself, how do you expect him to give you bigger blessings? How do you expect him, to bless you more when you can't even do the simplest thing? And that is, be in alignment with the healthier body, be in alignment with those sort of things. That's why it is super, super important.
Absolutely, man. And it bleeds into other things too, right? Like the mindset, the overcoming. Like as followers of Christ, a lot of times people think, oh, like you believe in Jesus, so your life is perfect, right? That's kind of always a stipulation when it comes to Christians from a worldly perspective. It's like, I deal with the same things that we all deal with too. But talk about that mindset and like, I don't know if you've had a client that has made a major transformation, and throughout that transformation and that process, they just became a whole different person. You mind talking about that?
I actually have an ideal customer that has had an amazing transformation. So his name is CJ, and hopefully if he gets the opportunity to watch this, I hope he listens to his story because I share it with a lot of people who are interested in getting help with their own fitness goals. So when it comes to CJ's story, he came to me about last year in mid-February. So it was 2025 February, and he was struggling losing weight, plain and simple. It's been 4 years after graduation for him. He's been trying to lose weight. He's been struggling, eating very healthy foods. And honestly, like he's just struggling. He's just telling me, he's opening up to me about this. He reaches out to me. He's like, hey man, I can't lose this weight. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to eat healthy and nothing seems to work. And I said, okay, man, like let's talk more about it in depth. Let's talk about your goals and your struggles and see if I can actually help you. And, he decided I was a good fit for him based on what we were going to do to actually get him to lose this weight. And not only did he do exceptionally well when it came to him actually hitting his goal, but he drew closer to God. One thing that I love, and more so on like the Christian side, like Christian doctrine side, is Christ calls us to make disciples of one another different ways, right? Because all of us clearly aren't pastors or preachers, like in our own way, right? And that's the beautiful part about it. With CJ, he lost an extra 10 pounds of what we anticipated, and he was a month ahead on schedule. And he lost 40 pounds, and on top of that, it was in 5 months. Usually I work with people for a minimum of 6 months just because it takes time to actually see that scale go down or go up, depending on your goals, right? And the most beautiful part about his story wasn't his transformation with his body. It was his transformation in every other aspect in his life. So for CJ, a month into coaching, he planned on marrying his girlfriend of 4 years, and she ends up breaking up with him.
Oh, dude.
And thank the Lord, like, he's local here in Utah. And I said, hey, man, I called him up. Let's go get coffee. Let's talk about it, because you can't let this roadblock or this trial, this tribulation that you're going through stop the progress that you're seeing, right? Because he was already doing really well off the bat. And I told him, like, bro, like, outside of work and the gym, what do you do? Because clearly right now he doesn't have a relationship and he does nothing. And I told him, okay, well, what are your goals? He said he wants to draw closer to God and he wants to do better in his life insurance department. And I told him, this is what you're going to do, man. Like, you are literally going to dedicate every spare time invested back into your life insurance sales department. You're going to put in 60 to 70 hour weeks. I'm telling you, it's not easy. But the person you're going to become, you're going to be more Christ-like with a work ethic, as long as it's not inflating your pride and your ego, right? But most importantly, it's the person that you're growing into. That's what's going to be beautiful. And I kid you not, within the 5 months of me actually coaching him, he doubled the amount of money he was making in his insurance department because of all of the, like, the success principles we went over when he was losing his weight. And most importantly, he drew closer to God throughout that process.
Yeah.
Like, he's 22 years old, or was 22 years old at the time, making about 50 to 60K a year as a sales, like, life insurance sales rep. And within that 5-month time period, like, doubled his income and turned into a life insurance sales coach. I had a call with him the other week, and now he's his own independent contractor. And it's just, it's super cool, because I love sharing CJ's story. That's just kind of the reality of it when it comes to all of this, is when you put Christ at the center and you put him at, like, just first, like, you're going to completely transform your life.
Man.
And that's the reality of it.
That's like, you know, that could have been a slippery slope. You know, young 20-year-old man, you know, gets his heart broken, had all these plans for the future, gets his heart broken. Like, most people take the path of least resistance, the one that, like, feels good. You know, and like, I think most people would be putting on weight during that time, right? They would be going to vices. But that's just a testament to you and what you do, because what I hear is that's just not physical coaching, right? Yeah. That's that holistic, like, that's my brother, and I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Yeah. And I'm going to guide you on that path, man. So that's beautiful on both sides, the coaching and just him being in submission to what you advised him to do. It's beautiful. Yeah. And it definitely was a process, because there were temptations along the way. Like, he downloaded Tinder a couple of times, and there's no shame in that. I know I'm saying this on a podcast, but there's no shame in that. It's like, you're 20 years old. Like, so many people are doing that. And, like, inherently, there's no need to be ashamed of that, addressing it, but you should correct the behavior. And that's what we did. I said, hey, man, like, you got to delete that, because whatever behaviors you're feeding into is rather going to draw you closer to God, or it's going to draw you farther away. Like, you have no business doing that. And he did. Like, and he was actually going on, like, dates with, like, women respectfully, like, actually treating these people respectfully and actually working on himself constructively, rather than just falling into temptation, taking the easy way out to numb the pain. Right. Yeah. I just wanted to share that. I know lots too, you wanted to share. So I'm sorry. It's amazing that when you treat your body seriously, how much you actually respect yourself a lot more. And so there's a higher standard in your life.
Mm-hmm. No, I was just going to say, comment. That's why athletes, like, usually make the best business people, the best leaders. Why? Because the whole purpose was about, like, break. I'm doing something I don't want to do, something that's hard for a longer purpose, but it translates into everything in life, man. Perseverance, endurance, that's what it's about, you know. And so, but I wanted to comment how you said earlier, we're not pastors. I think you're pretty much being a pastor, man, just in a different and I think that's what's happening today, man. People aren't going to just the four corners of the church and let me hear from my pastor. They're like, no, I need someone who in my field, in my experience, that can pastor and shepherd me. And so pastor today looks a little bit different. So I just wanted to comment, like, hey, man, we are probably our pastors. We just don't know it.
Man, you said a key word right there, shepherd. That's exactly what I thought of, is just you're shepherding a flock, right? You're tending to them, you're giving them, you're guiding them. what they need. Dakari, I got a question for you, and I'd like for you to answer honestly. Joel is laughing because he's like, I don't even know what he's gonna say. But
I don't, man.
Sometimes I get a little spicy, bro. I think people need to hear the truth, and I like to be a little controversial. Not that I'm looking for that, but man, when somebody is fat, is that selfish?
I feel like there's a lot of different dynamics and perspectives to answer that question. Could you be a little bit more specific?
I don't think I can. I'm just, obviously we're generalizing, right?
Okay, there's
health conditions that, but is it a choice majority of the time?
That's a better question. I'd say majority of the time it is a choice, because I was in that predicament where I was overweight. And I would say this, it's not inherently a choice that people continually choose, because here's the reality of it. And this is something that I learned as a coach. Dieting is extremely hard when people don't get the help that they need. People know how to inherently eat healthy, make healthier choices. But the reality is the society and social norm that we live in, it doesn't approach a healthy lifestyle. Like, it's not a normal thing to do. Like, food is so much more than just eating for fuel. It's enjoyment, it's culture, it's social, it's bonding. Like, that's just the part of like society that's deemed as normal. But ultimately at the end of the day, because I had to make that choice to lose the weight, it's still a choice. I'm not saying it's an easy choice,
right?
But it's a choice. And people there's information out there to get the help that you need. Like, there are people like me that can help you. That's why I do what I do, because I didn't get the help that I needed.
Right.
Like, if you willingly choose not to get the help that you want, then that's selfish.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great answer. Go ahead,
I look
Joel.
at it like just like Christianity, man. It's a life, society, everything that's opposite of what Christ asks us to do. So we're living in a life that we're just always just trying to be disciplined, distractions, temptations, right? So that's why I look at like weight loss, business, we walk with Christ, it's all the same. It's just about persevering, and everything's against you. But you're that one person that keeps going straight, but you're not doing it alone now. You're relying on God's strength.
Yes.
Right, as your accountability partner. So I think a lot of people don't have that accountability. And me and Joseph talk about this all the time. A lot of people want to be rich, want success, but they don't want to put that work into. Why? Because my week was bad, or I'm going on. And so you have to literally persevere and keep going. And that's what this is about, And so you talk about like how much work you have to do, because you talked about 40, 60 hours. Some people don't understand like that is the only way out. They feel like, oh, I did my 40 hours, I did my 30 hours, and I'm working. Hey, man, there's someone on the other side that is working 60 hours in your industry, and they're going at it, and then you're going to get mad at them 6 months from now because success is coming. So that can you talk about the work, how hard it is, not just in working out, but in business and honestly Christ too.
So the biggest thing is obedience. I feel like when you start to develop that personal relationship with Christ, he will point you in the right direction. And I feel like the Holy Spirit will literally tug you to make, what in our world would be perceived as risky bets or chances, but it's something you kind of have to do.
Yeah.
The amount of work that it truly takes to be successful, and this is something I'm still going through and experiencing myself, because I've only been in business for about a little bit less than 2 years now.
Yeah.
Majority of the work that you do is literally acts of faith and figuring it out more than it is actually having work that's used as leverage.
Yes, tell him again, man. Tell him again.
Yeah, like majority of the work is literally having acts of faith and figuring it out more than it is actually like having leveraged acts. Because I look at it now where I'm at with my business. So a few months ago, I ended up hiring a marketing team that 3x my revenue, because there were so many like holes in my business that I honestly just didn't know how to run. And looking back on it now, like with where I'm currently at today, I'm like, if I were to restart, like I 100% could do half of the work, have so much more impact and more leverage, and be 10 times faster than what I was trying to do. But when you're first getting started, you have to really rely on God. In whatever direction he's tugging you in, you have to act faithfully and go through those trials and tribulations. And majority of the time it's fluff work. Like it's just, you're doing, it's not productive work. You're just trying to figure it out. That's the process of entrepreneurship, because in our heads, it sounds a lot simpler. Like, oh yeah, I serve X amount of customers for X amount. This is the value. But when you actually get into it, you're like, what am I doing? Like you start freaking out because you're tied to it. And yeah, the reality is it's not easy. I feel like we live in a day and age too with social media where it's just super, super easy. And that's not true. Like it's not true at all.
Yeah. And you can have, this was crazy. You can have the formula, you can have like the theory and the strategy, but when you're actually in the game, it's totally different.
Yeah.
Totally different when you step into the game. You know, I have a few people that I you know, have good relationships with, and they're like, man, I keep on asking them. I'm like, man, when are you going to start your business? Oh man, I'm gonna get to it. Like, bro, like start now. Like you don't understand. Like you need to start now. And they have the mindset of, man, it's just going to come. Like it's going to be easy. And then my biggest pet peeve is like, oh man, if it's supposed to be, then God's going to make it happen. I'm like, okay, number one, God placed that dream, that idea, that vision, that mission, that business in your heart for a reason, right? And you need to go and act on it. If you truly believe in something, you'll be convicted enough to where it's like, man, I'm going to go make those calls. I'll make 100 calls today. I'll make 100 calls tomorrow. And I'm going to keep on making those calls or getting those clients or pushing out that content until it succeeds. And we live in a very lackadaisical, you know, culture. And I believe it is because of social media. So I appreciate, you know, the transparency and the honesty, because that's what people need to hear, man. People are, they got a lot of smoke blown up their butt from social media, and they need to hear the truth, the real truth from like literally what God says and what the Bible talks about, right? Like go to Proverbs. If you're a business owner, go read Proverbs, right? It's so necessary because it doesn't just come. But you need to act. And by acting and figuring it out, by doing all that fluff work like you're talking about, you find out the answers.
Yeah.
Love it, man. So talk about your story, because you had said that you used to be overweight.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how did you feel when you were overweight, and when was the pivot point for you where you're like, dude, I'm fat and I need to change. Like I can't live like this anymore.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's going to be touching some feelings, man, because I'm going to be honest, like I was the bigger kid growing up throughout my whole life. So yeah, when it comes to my own story, I would say it starts at 8 years old, even though surprisingly like very young, like that's where it all started. So I was 8 years old. I got called fat by one of my friends. I didn't even know what it meant at the time. And I was like, oh, what's that mean? Like, and I don't know. It was just, I asked my parents, and then like
he's like, you
informed me on what that is. And I'm just this chunky little kid, not knowing any better. And I started to develop an insecurity because of that. And then I started to pick up on things just as a little kid in elementary school, like noticing people would make fun of me, noticing like people talk behind my back. I'd have fake friends just because I was overweight. And I learned very fast. I hated this. And I would ask my dad just simple questions like, how do I lose weight? Like at a young age, like I had no business asking those types of questions. And he'd always go, just eat healthier. Right. And I would try and make more health conscious decisions, even at 8. Like I remember distinctly, I told my aunt, like, hey, I'm on a diet. I can't eat this. We're at a Wendy's and I'm ordering a salad at 8. Like this 120-pound, 8-year-old ordering a salad because I just know that's healthier.
Right.
My aunt's like, you have no business going on a diet at 8 years old. Like,
she's like, you hit puberty yet.
Yeah. Like, what are you concerned about going on a diet for? And it was just this yo-yo effect where I would try countless different things, losing weight. I hated getting made fun of. I hated getting picked on by my friends, people that didn't know me, people that did. And it was something I struggled with immensely. Like I battled suicidal thoughts. I actually, take my own life away a couple of times as a kid because I hated it. Like, and it kind of translated over in different aspects of my life. I was not the smartest kid growing up, and that was kind of my pivoting point at that time. I was in 6th grade. It was a 6th grade summer. So entering 6th grade, and I was like, man, like I'm tired of being stupid. I'm so sick and tired of picking up my report card. I see B's and C's when I know I'm not worth that. And I remember distinctively, I was telling my whole family, I'm going to be more than a hustler. I'm going to get this. I'm going to have a 4.0. Sixth grade year, 4.0 the whole year. My citizenship was perfect. And I found excitement and joy out of that. It was not easy, but every time I knew like I was getting my homework done, I knew I was becoming this new version of myself that I wasn't before. I learned this at a very, very young age. And I found enjoyment out of that. And it actually made me feel good about myself despite me being overweight. And I learned, wow, like I can actually do something about where I'm currently at in life despite where I'm at. I could actually do something. And I went from this overweight kid to like, okay, now I'm getting good grades. You know, I picked up a couple of instruments. I currently still play guitar. I started on piano. Like I learned piano, alto saxophone, clarinet, like the guitar, because it was kind of these outlets. And I realized, you know, like when I put my mind to something, I can actually do it. Like I realized this very early on, but the weight part, I couldn't figure it out. And I tried countless of different things. I had my own personal trainer at 11 years old. That didn't help. I was a very active kid. I played football. I was in Taekwondo. I did Gracie's Jiu-Jitsu. I was in soccer, baseball. Like, and I was so confused why I'm not losing this weight. Tried diet pills, like apple cider.
At 11.
Yeah, like at 11, man. Like literally, I tried everything. Like P90X, I'd do in my dad's basement. Like it was, dude. Like it was.
Ab Ripper X, baby.
And I was really on the verge of giving up. Like it's when the suicidal thoughts were kind of getting higher. I'm in my freshman year in high school. I'm getting made fun of by all these people. I didn't really have a friend group. I was friends with everybody, but they weren't really my friends. I was more so just the annoying kid that like people didn't want to be rude to, right? And it wasn't until like by the grace of God, and I didn't know God back then. I got saved 2 years ago, where I'm just very grateful I stuck through it long enough to figure something out. Because by the time I was 14, I was about 210 pounds. I was 5'4", and I started to question my health. Like, what direction am I really going in life? I knew I wanted to be successful, but I'm like, man, like, am I going to have diabetes? Like, I'm getting out of breath when I go up the stairs. Like, this isn't cool. And I wasn't making good decisions in school either. I would get drunk in school. It's in ninth grade. I'd smoke weed, like, because I didn't like myself. And I was hanging out with the wrong type of people to numb that pain. And it wasn't until I was 14, freshman year ended, and I finally figured something out. I figured out counting my calories. And I would literally grab my dad's weed scale, because my dad would have to hustle to pay the bills. And I would literally grab that, go weigh out my food, put it in my notes app, look it up, see how much I'm eating, and then add that up at the end of the day. And my parents were so confused. They're like, why are you weighing out your food? Like, they think I have some eating disorder. And I'm like, no, I got to do this. Like, and they were literally trying to tell me, like, you know, you shouldn't do that. Just eat healthier. And I'm like, you guys don't get it. Like, I'm kind of glad I was a little bit stubborn back then, because that's what kind of carried me through actually following through with this. The first week of me actually doing this, I lost 8 pounds. And I was like, what? Like, I lost it, because I was like, dude, I've tried so many things. I've never seen success with this. And I finally figured out something that's working. And that's what my pivoting point was. I switched schools. I was like, man, I don't want to get bullied anymore. My grades were slipping in high school as well. My freshman year, I had like a 2.0 GPA average because I was making bad decisions. It wasn't because I was a dumb kid, but because I was just making poor decisions. The pivoting point for me, I was 14 years old. I'm entering my sophomore year, new start, new school, don't know anyone. I was able to focus on my grades, just focus on actually losing this weight. 8 months later, I lost 80 pounds. I was in really good shape. I looked entirely differently. No one from my previous school had seen me. And when they did see me in public, like, they had to look twice, because they were like, the Dakari? Like, it was just the most odd experience that I'd gone through. And a year later, competed in my first natural bodybuilding show. I took first place.
Dude.
And that's when I had a burning desire to truly help people.
Yeah.
I understood like what it actually was like to be overweight, to pull my shirt down when I'm sitting down, or to wear a hoodie all the time, even if it's summer, or avoiding certain hallways or, you know, certain ways like of traveling just because I don't want to get looked at or made fun of by certain people. A whole other level of self-conscious. It's like you're monitoring yourself, or you feel like you're being monitored, and it's horrible. Like, and that's just your day-to-day living. That doesn't even consist of your health. that doesn't talk about like long-term like issues you're going to deal with if you don't get your health like solved, right?
Yeah. And
That's
I
just,
imagine it affects you mentally too.
oh yeah, like it was horrible. Like I struggled with like talking to girls. I was disrespectful to girls. Like no, like it wasn't me. Like I wasn't myself.
Right.
I mean, as far as my story goes, it's like that's my weight loss journey. Like
Mm.
I tried a lot of stuff out, lost 80 pounds throughout the process, fell in love with the process of bodybuilding. And along the way, I built an amazing network of people. Like people have seen my transformation. On top of that, like as far as my actual story goes, and it's like a whole other conversation. So it's a lot to fill people in on. But as I was going through my own battles, like through my weight loss journey, my mom was going through a pain pill addiction. My dad was taking care of both of my dying grandparents, and I always felt alone. And I feel like the biggest driving factor that always pushed me to do more was the fact that my dad, despite everything that he's gone through, he's been an amazing father. And now, like me as a saved Christian, I just look at the blessings that God has given me. I'm like, man, the amount that my dad loves me. And long story short, my dad's gone through a lot of stuff. Like his first kid was kidnapped from him from the person that he actually conceived my brother with, which is a completely different woman than my mom. My second brother, he ended up living with his mom. Mom got custody. He didn't even get a chance to fight for custody. And my sister, which is my mother's daughter, my dad didn't even get a chance to raise her. And I always just reflect, like my dad always just wanted an opportunity to really raise a kid and know that he did something right. And every time like that I reflect on my story, that was the reason. Was because despite what my dad had to go through, like witnessing his dying life, because my mom was going through a pain pill addiction, and on top of that, his dying parents, yet he was still present for me as a father.
It's a good
Like,
man.
you know, I can't be this pushover kid, man. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry.
Man.
And it's like really quick, because I know there's going to be a lot of thoughts. I just reflect now, especially me as a saved Christian. Man, if my dad loves me that much, I can only imagine how much Christ loves me.
Yeah.
Dang, bro, you gonna make me cry for real, man. Yeah.
It's deep. This is why I love like testimonies and podcasts, man. You get to meet different people's perspectives. Yeah. You can literally feel your story. I can like feel it through the screen, man. So that's why I know like God's gonna use you in a mighty way, because you went through the process at a deep level, and then you persevered, and you didn't like, oh, I feel sorry for myself. Like you went the opposite way, and I can see your passion, your energy. It comes off the screen, man. So
thank you.
I want to know, I don't know if Joseph had a question, but for me, it was like a part of that story. When did like Jesus enter? Like, did your dad first get saved, and then, or you got saved, and your like, how was that process with all this?
Okay. So I know there's probably a couple of plot holes in the story. So when I had made my transformation, I still have my mother till this day. She went to rehab for literally 4 days. And by the time that I had made my transformation, like that actually helped her focus more on her health. So my mother is doing amazing, sober. I'm very blessed to have her. And my dad lost 30 pounds. He's now very health oriented. But just to wrap that up so people have clarity, right? But as far as when I got saved, so my spiritual background, I grew up more so in an agnostic household. Like we had like statues of Buddha. We had Black Jesus picture in our house.
Wait, Jesus isn't black?
I don't know. My dad was almost a borderline Israelite before. I think that's what they're called. Like before he got saved. Like he was very like, sorry, I hate saying this about my dad, but it's true. Like very black supremacy. Like I was just like, man, like, okay, and this is a while ago. He's not like that anymore. He's grown a lot. It's really
all in Utah. All in Utah.
All in Utah.
Wow, that's surprising. Okay, continue.
So, yeah, my dad. We never really grew up in a religious household, so I mean, it was something always new to me. I was very agnostic, atheist growing up, and it wasn't until it was actually my girlfriend's brother's testimony. He had gone through some deep legal issues, and he should be in a lot of trouble, or should have been, I should say, because now it's past time. But point of the matter being is he made some mistakes, and clearly I can't like communicate those for privacy's sakes. Yeah, he ended up turning to Christ when he was going through all of this stuff, and me witnessing this first-handedly, like his testimony, I like just saw him like, and he'd always say, man, you got to pray. And I was like, I was never like closed-minded to the fact that, you know, there might be a God, or, you know, Jesus or Christ is Lord. I was never closed-minded to that. But when I like truly started to see him put his faith in Christ and then saw what happened, I turned to Christ. And the turning point was this. So we picked him up from New Mexico, like after he had made, you know, mistakes. We didn't know about it until a week after picking him up. I had gotten kicked out of my house. Me and my girlfriend had gotten kicked out of my parents' house. And that's when we actually started to live with her parents. And yeah, we found out he was going through some legal issues. And crazy enough, he had their location on Life 360. They're at the New Mexico Police Department, and they have a phone with all of the evidence of what he did. So assumptively, like, they are literally about to like get him in weeks worth of time. Like, there's going to be a knock on the door, because there's no way that they're not looking into all this evidence, right? And in the meanwhile, like, I didn't have a job. I was going to college, like just kind of focusing on whatever I needed to focus on. It was mainly my YouTube at the time and just the gym, but really experiencing like what had happened. And he turned to Christ, and we're just expecting this knock on the door, and like weeks are going by, and we're just expecting, you know, what's going to happen. Nothing happens.
Yep, that's how it is, man.
It was just, it opened my eyes. And this was only 2 years ago, like a little bit over 2 years ago. It was in December, like November-ish, like 2 years ago. And man, it just completely changed my perspective on, you know, why are we here? Because I'm like, that's not coincidence. You don't just show up to a police department with all the evidence. We knew they had evidence, and there's not a knock at the door. They knew where we live, because it was a family incident. Like they knew where we were. I was like, there's just no way. Like you'd have to be like actually absurdly insane or naive or ignorant to say that's a coincidence. Like that's stupid. Like, oh, you never know what happened. Maybe they didn't. Like, no, like I knew. We all knew.
Maybe they forgot.
Yeah, like
Don't forget, man.
dude, like it's just like, okay, like, and that's what was the turning point for me. And that's where my relationship with Christ like started to spark. And I started watching a bunch of Cliff Connectley, like a bunch of Bryce Crawford, I believe is his, like that's his name.
Yeah.
Just looking at the archaeological discoveries of Christ. And I was like, wow, like this isn't just a religion. Like this is archaeologically proven with evidence.
Yep.
That with eyewitness testimony, like he really did rise from the dead, like in almost every stat or statistic possible. It's like, if you look from like Judaistic, like statistics, majority of Jews like converted to Christianity.
Yep.
There's good reason for that. I'd imagine, oh yeah, you probably rose from the dead. Like they didn't just switch to Christianity for no darn reason. Like me as a Christian, I'm not going to go out and just, oh yeah, I'm like a supporter of Islam, like, or I'm a believer in Islam. Like that doesn't just happen unless like I know, you know,
experience.
And I started to just start praying. We started going to church. We go to the Point Church, and ever since, it's just like it's been a journey. My like journey through entrepreneurship is like it's Christ's testimony, if I'm being honest. Like. And that's like as far as like my story goes with my own journey with Christ.
Man,
wow.
Yeah.
I want to, you know, caveat to the people that may be listening. Don't go committing crimes and then pray to Jesus thinking he's going to save you. It's not always going to work like that. Allegedly crimes. Man, while you're telling your testimony, I'm thinking about it's now one of my favorite verses. We did a Bible study maybe a month ago, and Joel he built the Bible study off of this verse. It's Deuteronomy 8, and in the beginning of the verse it says it's talking about the Israelites leaving Egypt and making their journey into the promised land and being stuck there for 40 years, right? And in I think it's verse 2, it says the Lord your God led you to the wilderness. And then throughout the rest of the verse it talks about how, you know, basically God was preparing them, but even while they were in the wilderness, he provided for them, and that there's greater things that are on the other side. But the whole verse is about humility and submitting your life to God.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, we go through these struggles, and you're proof of making it to that promised land, of, you know, overcoming those things, of becoming the best version of yourself. Like, a lot of times the devil gets a lot of credit for the struggles, the trials, and the tribulations, but in fact, I think majority of the time God is placing you in that position, because look at Dakari O'Neal now. Look at what you're doing for the kingdom.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, that wasn't, again, we're talking about coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe like it's divinity, is God ordained. You were supposed to be that chubby fat kid, because now you help CJ not only become the best version of himself, but you also led him to Christ, man. And that's what we are called to do. You know, like you're a shepherd, right? You're tending to your sheep, but you can only get to that point by going through the struggle, right? Diamonds are made from pressure.
Exactly.
So, man, I just, oh man, I'm getting so fired up by you, bro. But you seem like a very humble young man, right?
Thank you.
And I don't know you personally. I haven't been around you
of course.
in person, but where I'm going with this is, a lot of times when you get a great body, you start to get that ego filled, right? Like, man, like, now I'm fit. Now where's all the, you know, where's the girls at? You know, like, man, I'm better than you now. I overcame. Like, how come you're not like that?
In full transparency, I never related like my self-worth to being out of shape. To me, the biggest struggle was just not liking like how I felt about myself. Like, it's just, I already knew, like, I probably not self-consciously, subconsciously, that I just related, like, you know, being out of shape is just a whole other level of unorganized. It's like, even though I didn't feel that way, like, okay, my grades are in check, like everything is doing fine, you know, like, but that was always something in the back of my mind. It never really inflated my ego. I feel like when I lost weight, I feel like from an outside perspective, like, it definitely might have seemed like that to certain people, depending on certain predicaments or certain situations. But I knew internally it didn't really like inflate me. If anything, it let me be me. Like, I could actually be myself. Like, I don't have social anxiety anymore. I can wear this shirt now. Like, it definitely still would show, and I'll be 100% transparent here, because that's where constructiveness is going to be the most valuable, is through true transparency. Like, there might have been certain aspects that I did have my ego inflated with that I'm probably not aware of. But for me, that was never a real personal battle. I really consider myself someone humble, but at the same time, I have to be open-minded to potentially having an ego, because that's how I'm going to keep myself humble. It's like, if I'm not 100%, if I'm 100% humble, I have to be open-minded about that. That's the only way for me to grow.
Absolutely.
No, that's good. Man, I have a question. Just this, like, I'm really curious about this. So you're in Utah. The reason I asked earlier, because Utah is looked at as Mormon. There's no black, there's no color, there's no flavor, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I was really surprised at your upbringing. But now, since you're a Christian, do you ever get like any flack from like the Mormon community? Is there anything like that you've experienced? Like, I'm really curious about that.
I'll tell you one thing that I've experienced, because I would say, like, I mean, in my honest belief and perspective of this, in my understanding, I state those things because I don't want to sound ignorant. And if I am, like, I'm more than open-minded to learning. But like, Mormonism is not Christianity. Like, they serve a completely different depiction of Christ. Like,
it's crazy. We were just talking about this.
Yep.
It's like, it's not Jesus. Like, it's no different than Islamic belief. They believed in Jesus. They believed that he rose from the dead. They also believed that he was a good prophet. He didn't believe that he was God. Right. They didn't say that he was the truth. Like, because there's a distinction there. It's 100%. like Joel, like, what if you told me, or like, let's say Joseph told me, oh yeah, like, Joel, he plays in the NBA. He's 6'2", jacked. Like, he doesn't run a podcast, and he's Mormon. Like, and then I go up to meet you. I'm like, yo, bro, like, how was your game last week? You're like, what the hell are you talking about? Like what? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not even you. Yeah, exactly. Even though you share the same name and face, it's not the same person. My own experiences with Mormonism is this. So I have a client, his name's Andy, very successful individual, and I'd say actually very Christ oriented. And the one thing is, labels are completely different than what it actually is. Some people might identify as Mormon, not truly understand what that actually means, but they might be a follower of Christ. Like I've run into a couple of predicaments like that where they're like, yeah, I'm Mormon. And I'm like, what Jesus do you serve? And they go, the one 2,000 years ago that died on the cross for me. And like they biblically like describe the actual Jesus, not the one that's described in the Book of Mormon. Like that's brothers with Lucifer and so forth, like a historically and archaeologically accurate Jesus. And I'm like, then you're not Mormon. Like,
Yeah.
like, and I found this. So my client Andy, going back to that, I found out that he's LDS, or he serves the Church of Latter-day Saints, and from my understanding, that's Mormon. But one thing that I learned is that, you know, Christ meets us where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start to realize it's a personal relationship, and as long as it's not, you know, someone deceiving themselves out of pride and ego, like, because it is a personal journey, like God will help you draw closer to him in his own way. And someone like Andy, I've realized like is very Christ oriented. And he said Mormonism and LDS like resonates with him the most when it comes to serving God. And I'm like, okay, I'm human. That's a big margin of error. Only God knows what Andy's up to. Only God knows if he's a real follower of Christ. Like, and that's something that I've learned is even though he might have the label LDS or Mormon, that does not inherently mean he doesn't serve the true kingdom.
Mm.
That's kind of my own experiences with like Mormonism.
Bro, I love that answer because that just shows the humility in you. But that's what being Christ-like is. It's like, I don't know, but like it's also not my responsibility to like cast judgment behind closed doors on this individual. Like God, if God's working on him, he's gonna work on him in his own way. You know, it's funny. Do you know who Brad Rowe is? He's a famous bodybuilder.
If you show me a picture, probably.
Yeah, Jack dude, beard, kind of like ginger hair. So we had him on our podcast, and he talked about how he got led to Christ, and it's through a DMT experience, and now like he's on fire for God. And you know, I feel like the majority of Christians would be like, oh, you took drugs and you know you found God. Like people would put like shame on that or judge, and it's like, what does it matter? He got led to Christ. Like that's what we're ultimately in the business of, is planting those seeds to lead others to heaven. You know what I mean? Like forget the titles of everything, man. So man, I love this, bro. I want to allow you to take the time and man, share with everybody where they can find you, how they can work with you, how they can watch your content, and I just give all the plugs, bro, for yourself.
Thank you. Well, currently my only plug right now is Instagram because I've done a rebranding, but you can find me at Coach Kari. The coach is with a K. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, you can DM me and my team will get to you.
And they can coach with you even if they're not in Utah, right? They don't need to be physically located.
It's all online. Like my whole business is ran online. So if you're 100% needing help in regards to your health, and maybe, 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20 resonates with you, and you're like, man, 2026 just started, let's get it. I still got that 10% discount applied on my coaching, so you can just check me out in my DMs.
Let's go.
Awesome. I love it.
Joel, you have any other questions for him?
Man, I had one more. I'm just gonna ask it. Sure. Give me, this is cheesy, man, but I just like to know. Man, give me your top 3 Bible characters. You can't use Jesus. You got to use 3 other ones. I just want to know. I'm curious to see.
Peter is number 1.
Okay.
Because his story is probably the best example of what Christianity is. He denied Christ 3 times because he was self-righteous and honestly was scared. And that's every day. That's what being a Christian is. It's carrying your cross every day. It's admitting that you're wrong. You have to depend on Christ to not just live a good life, but most importantly, just draw closer to him. You have to depend on him.
That's good. That's good. Oh, man.
I think you froze on our end.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was just my computer.
Either way, man. He finished that answer. That was good. Unless he comes back in the next minute, I think we can just close it. Well, it's frozen for good, man. I guess we just close it, Joe. What you thinking?
Yeah, let's give it like 30 seconds. I mean, we can obviously edit this all out, but
No, this was a fire episode, bro.
no, it was good, man. Definitely hit all the emotions. He's probably gonna come back. Hit all the emotions, bro. Like that's a good brother right there, man. Yeah, that was fire. Let's see if he comes back.
I mean, here he gave us the plugins. I think that was good.
Yeah.
The last question, I mean, he didn't finish, but he answered the first one. Like he gave us Peter and he gave us the why. So
Here it is.
There we are. Oh my goodness. I appreciate you guys so much.
No, you're good, bro. Things happen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wi-Fi cut out. But yeah, so 3 Bible characters. First
We
one
got
is
Peter.
Second one I'd say is David, because he heavily depended on God. And most importantly, like he was very transparent as to where the kingdom was belonging to, and that was Christ. Like, and I believe it's who was it? Was it Paul? It was King Paul, wasn't it? Before David.
Saul.
Saul.
Yeah, Saul. Yeah.
And one thing is like he was almost self-righteous to owning like the title king, even though it's just a title. Of course, you have authority and there's things that go with that. But why I like David so much is he understood that whoever wears that crown, it just means that you're the manager of everything that God wants to be ordained. That's why I like David. And despite, the trials and everything that he went through, everything was stacked against him. And yet he put his faith in God, and God was able to was able to work through him.
Yeah, that's good.
So David, the last one, honestly, I think it's a sad story, but King Solomon, very wise, but yet so wise he made poor decisions by the time of his passing, but before his time, right? I like Solomon just because, for one, his writing of Proverbs, if you apply every one of those principles in your life will drastically get better.
Yeah.
And on top of that is just, as a businessman, reflecting on that is like, wow, like you could do exceptionally well just following Proverbs and listening to what Solomon did, like, and what he preached.
Yeah.
So yeah, top 3.
Man, I like that. That's a good list.
Thank you.
It's a good list, man.
That's all I have, man.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, bro. Dakari, man, we appreciate you being on the CROWNEDCAST, man. How we end every episode is we have our guests say a prayer and pray us out. Is that something that you'd be open to?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's do it.
Okay. Our Father, thou in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We come here today to just thank you for all of what you do. We want you to know that we love and cherish you, and we're grateful to be alive another day. Shall you forgive us for our debts, and shall we forgive our debts as our debtors? We want you to know, Lord, that I'm just super grateful to be a part of the podcast. Shall you bless Joel and Joseph for all that they do, and shall they continue to spread the gospel and continue to do your work? And we just want to show our gratitude today. We say these things in your holy name, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Dakari, again, thank you, man. You touched us. I know everybody that's going to be watching is going to be touched as well, man. You hit everything. You hit emotions, you hit inspiration, you hit business, you hit God, man. So thank you so much. And for everybody else watching, we will see you next time on the CROWNEDCAST podcast.